Alright, so I'm going to break down how I shot that no budget Under Armour ad. So this isn't something that Under Armour asked me to make. This is what we call a spec ad, where basically I just made it for myself to add to my portfolio, to share with clients, to show what I'm capable of, and could hopefully lead to more opportunities like this. So how did I go about making this? Because it's actually a lot more complex than it seems on the surface. So first off is planning and pre-production. This takes a lot of time, and if you want a smooth and efficient shoot, then this is the most important thing. First off is research and conceptualization. Research is super important, so when I decided I was gonna make an Under Armour ad, I made sure to do my research and look at a bunch of other Under Armour ads. What kind of style are they? What kind of music do they use? What color palette do they use? Is it handheld? Is it on sticks? How long are they? Is there text? What aspect ratio do they shoot in? These are all important things to consider and then place into your own work. It's also important to research their competition's work. What are they doing differently that maybe you can implement into this project? Next up was location scouting. Now this can take a lot of time, but luckily I already had an idea of where I wanted to shoot. So I made sure before I started planning anything else to go and visit that location. That way I could look at the different angles I wanted to use, different set pieces and equipment, different, things I could stand on. And most important, where is the sun? I decided to shoot this at sunrise because at that specific location, the sun at sunrise would be right behind the bleachers shining through, which makes a super cool effect. I also had to acquire talent and coordinate with their schedule in a way that would work with mine and the way I wanted to shoot it. Luckily this was super easy because my friend Jordan helped me out. He volunteered his time and he was flexible and willing to wake up before daybreak. The next step is developing a shot list. Now this wasn't only just a list of all the shots I wanted to get, but also a list of all the tools that I'd be needing to achieve those shots. So which camera would I be using? Which lens would I be using? Would it be on a gimbal? Would it be on a tripod? Would it be handheld? Could it be shot before or after the talent arrives? I then organized the shot list around these tools and grouped them together. That way the shoot would move quickly and efficiently, and I wouldn't be wasting mine or Jordan's time with me constantly changing out gear or shooting stuff that he didn't need to be there for. Next is gear prep. Now that I had the shot, oh my god. So next up is gear prep. Now using the shot list that I made, I had a very clear blueprint of the gear that I would need. So prep it the night before, balance the gimbal, charge the batteries, do whatever. And make sure it was all functioning and packed away for the next morning. Next up is shooting. I don't know why I said it like that. Shooting went incredibly smooth, which was awesome because I got there before my talent arrived, so that way I could get some establishing shots and set up my gear the way I needed to. And then when Jordan arrived, we knocked out the most difficult shot first. It is just great to get out of the way and then make the shoot just get easier and easier from there. In this case, it was this shot. And this was shot with me on an electric skateboard, holding a gimbal, shot on my new little camera, this little guy, the ZV-1. The reason we opted for this little guy for this shot is it has digital stabilization, great autofocus, 4K, and it's just really small and maneuverable, which is exactly what we needed. And then we moved on to the other gimbal shots since I had the gimbal out and ready to go, but also because a lot of these shots were sort of the calm before the storm, before Jordan actually worked out, which means we wanted to get those shots early before he actually got sweaty from working out. I wanted to shoot most of this video handheld just to get that sort of raw, intense feeling. And I shot it on my GH4 with my Sigma 18-35 lens, and neither of which have stabilization. And what gives away an amateur look are the little micro jitters that come from using such a small, light, mirrorless camera. It subconsciously tells the viewer that this isn't being shot on a heavier, more professional camera with some weight, and it's ultimately just distracting. My solution to this was actually to use my switch pod in a unique way. I would put the camera on the switch pod, which then adds more weight to make it more stable. I'd grab the two front legs with my hands and put the third leg against my chest. This way it adds 3 points of contact to make it more stable, and it also gets my hands as far away from the sensor as possible. This creates that natural handheld look without all the little micro jitters from holding the camera directly. And once we started shooting handheld, the shoot just flew by. It was really easy to run around, get shots, super simple. I also made sure to use the sun to my advantage throughout the shoot. A lot of times I oriented Jordan in front of the sun so the sun could be backlighting him, just because I really like that look. I like the lens flares, and the shading on the face adds a lot of depth, where if we shot with his face in direct sunlight, it would just be too bright and overblown and harsh and just ugly. Now we're on to post-production. Post-production is obviously where it all comes together, but it's so much more than just a montage of working out shots. You still have to tell a story. In this case, in this little 50-second advertisement, it had multiple acts of storytelling. First, I established the location with a wide establishing shot and some close-ups of equipment so you knew this was a place for training, it was a place for working out and getting stuff done. I also used a sound design to establish that it was morning with the birds chirping, and I also used sound design to demonstrate that there was a car rolling up and parking, and Jordan got out with his water bottle, walking to the track, ready to get work done. Like I said, I used a lot of smooth shots in the beginning before he actually started working out, sort of the calm before the storm, and to demonstrate he was ready to go. After that was the bulk of the commercial, all the shots of him walking out. But they're more than just shots of him working out, there's still a story there. First, we show him putting in work, and then we show him getting tired and angry that he's not performing at his best, and then we have him overcoming that and pushing through to get the work done. By the end, we have him walking down the track back to the car to show that he had achieved his workout. And this shot is also sort of a bookend, like the beginning establishing shot, a wide of the track to show that the commercial is complete. And then post also includes all the color, music, sound design, logos, and all that stuff to really legitimize the ad. And then you're all done. You proved what you can do. It's a lot of work, a lot of thinking, a lot of moving parts, but now you have a proof of concept and a large brand on your portfolio. And if possible, you could even try to pitch this to the company that you made it for, especially if it's a smaller, more local company. And hopefully other brands see your potential and ask you to make something similar for them. Or, absolute worst case scenario, you learned a lot and you added another video to your portfolio. And that's about it. That's how I made my ad for Under Armour. And let me know if you found this helpful or inspiring or interesting, or if you hated it and you want me to shut up.